Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2014 and to date made on only 27 pieces, as you see it here. This is the Bethune DB27 All Black. It is the Titan Hawk, and I like to combine the name Titan Hawk with All Black to name this the Black Hawk. So DB27 Titan Hawk V1, this is the original version of the watch launched in 2012. This specific model in black and zirconium came out 2 years later in 2014, and again, just over 24 of these made to date. It's now out of production, so there won't be any more. It was the starkest, most vocal, most severe aesthetic the company could create at the time, and it's not achieved using the trappings of opulent luxury, contrived devices like colored gold or set gems. No, this is done by creating a watch that is rugged, versatile, durable, and everyday friendly with a base metal and a hard black coating that is virtually indelible. So let's talk about the bare size. It is 43 millimeters in diameter in hard black coated zirconium. The watch's thickness, as you can see in profile, 12.4 millimeters, and it has variable geometry floating lugs. So these will actually vary based on the shape and width of your wrist. At their narrowest, they're 47 millimeters lug to lug. At full extension, 50.5 millimeters, and this is the short lug set. Bethune has several different sizes. This is the short set. There is a 26 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I mentioned the watch is severe, and it's a standout, and sure enough, with this all black aesthetic, it pops. It's not the same as rose gold or diamond paved Franc Muller. This is a watch that is almost industrial in its look. As you can see, no problem fitting on my wrist. Those lugs will conform to you. I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, and it is low enough that it'll fit underneath the cuff. So if you did want to wear it with a sleeve, that would not be a problem. One more shot down the barrel so you can see, then over the top. And this always exaggerates. This angle always exaggerates the width of the watch. I like to do a distant shot sometimes when it's difficult to see a watch's size in proportion to my arm. So 16 centimeters, that's how it wears. That's my arm, that's my hand. Now you get a better sense of the watch in context. The strap is high grade, medium rectangular scale alligator leather, semi-gloss black. You could see a sheer cut side, a monotone stitch, small round scale alligator on the bottom. The point of double gator is that it's more durable. The strap costs a few $100s more, but on a watch like this, well worth it. Factory strap, no crimping, no gouging, no degradation. We have a matching blackened zirconium Bethune branded pin buckle, and this is the buckle used on the DB28s and the DB27s. At Bethune, the buckles are model line specific, which is why you can see that there's an echo of the design of the lugs in the design of the buckle. The lugs have these little bullet tips on the edge. That's the last design vestige of the original Bethune watch from 2002, the DB1 chronograph. They're called the torpedo tips, the bullets, ogival cones. I call them a lingering legacy that's held up well, even as the company is more apt to pursue revolution than evolution. That little bit remains. Now we have these prismatic, open, airy, buttress-like lugs that are pivoted at the center and spring-loaded. We have a double knurled screw-down crown, the screw-down to prevent the crown from being hit by the lugs. And the watch is 30 meters water resistant, but that's more like a minimum rather than a maximum due to the solidity of assembly and the screw-down crown. If you look, you can see that the case is a monoblock, so the bezel and the case are all one piece. Everything loads through the back. This creates a very seamless bezel. You could see that it is a very tough watch. The only marks after all these years, 2 small nicks on the bezel, and that's it. You can see that the mark didn't even go through the hard black coating, which is thousands of Vickers, with the underlying zirconium being hundreds of Vickers. It's a very, very solid combination. Taking a quick look at the dial, we have a toroidal and cambered minute and hour track outboard. It's silver on black print with radially arrayed Arabic and Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4 there. We have modified polished Breguet style hands for the minutes and the hours. And then we have a little deltoid shaped date indicator that is a radial date indicator, and it does actually have a quick set function. So if you want to rapidly set your radial date, you could do so. And that deltoid shape designed to reflect watchmaker Denis Flageolet's philosophy of ever upward development and advancement. That's why you see that deltoid style bridge on the DB28s and the back of the DB25s. It's a version of this. It's not a Star Trek badge. It's actually the symbolic upward arc of de Bethune watchmaking. Now, de Bethune makes its cases, dials, and movements, so everything you see here is in-house. Taking a look at the center dial, you can see de Bethune uses a very shallow engraving called microlite or microlite that has been developed in-house to replace guilloche, where a traditional rose lathe look would not be appropriate due to the modernity of the watch aesthetic, but you still want to have something that is artisanal. So you get that microlite, which is a wonderful solution, turning it all over. Inside we have caliber S233. Now, keep this in mind. The original versions of the Titan Hawk, the V1s, they were automatic winding with a 6-day power reserve. After 2018, with the V2s, the power reserve went down to 60 hours, so there is a big qualitative difference there. Also, you lose the date with the V2. Now, this also had some technology that made it a little bit more upscale than the DB-V2 movement in the second generation Titan Hawk. So here, we get twin mainspring barrels. We get a rotor that is a combination of titanium and platinum. We get a 38 joule movement that beats at 4 hertz and has the triple parachute shock protection system, though in somewhat different form. As if you look carefully here, you could see that there's Inca block over the center, over the balance staff pivot. Then if you look on the side, you can see little coil spring packs that are used to cushion the balance bridge on each edge. So that is designed to impart a huge amount of shock resistance for durability, but also for the sake of chronometry, as it more rapidly recenters the balance staff pivot in its cup jewel. So it's not just there to prevent damage, it is there to improve timekeeping. We have the de Bethune patented hairspring curve. It's 2 pieces of a flat hairspring shaped by hand and clamped together, so it's thin like a flat hairspring and shock resistant like a flat hairspring, but it breathes concentrically to keep identical time in every position like an overcoil. Of course, you can also see the company's full annular silicon disc balance wheel. It's hard to even see it turning, but the rim is recessed white gold, so as much mass as possible is in the rim. It also minimizes the effect of aerodynamic drag on timing because the rim is flush, and then the wheel itself is silicon to reduce the amount of mass inboard of the rim, but also reduce the effect of temperature changes on timing deviation. So this watch is excellent in that regard as well. So it's a very durable watch, both externally and internally. And it's protected by no fewer than 6 individual de Bethune patents. When you buy a de Bethune watch, the money goes into the timepiece, creating all these technologies, as well as the large components, the dial, the case, and the movement. So really cutting no corners, farming nothing out. And one of the reasons de Bethune does build those parts in-house is to control quality and also allow incredibly short and low-volume production runs, because the supplier doesn't want to hear that you only want 27 of these cases, even though that's all that de Bethune wound up making. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.